Welcome, everybody. It is Business Monday, blistering hot Business Monday in downtown Providence. I'm Josh Fenton, CEO of GoLocal, and we are talking small biz. Deborah Dunning is with me from Sphere E and her conglomerate of innovation that's going on. Interesting building model that you are developing in creating a much more sustainable building economy. Give us a little bit of an overview of it for the layperson.
Sure. So basically, we're the Circular Economy Partners, which includes Sphere E, and we're offering right now to Rhode Island businesses of all sizes training and technology and software that helps them reduce their annual operating costs and improve their competitiveness. Wouldn't this be of value to everybody? I would think so. So how do we do that? We do that by training on methods and processes that teach you how do you reduce waste? How do you reduce the amount of water you're using, increase energy efficiency, and reduce climate change and all of that? That's what our processes are about. And they're supported by coaching of the companies we work with and making the technology to actually do it. So it results, it's a win. It's a win for manufacturers, it's a win for purchasers, for companies, and ultimately the state and growing the economy. Here's a simple example. The necklace I'm wearing is a circular economy product in the simplest sense. The designer chose to use recycled copper piping from a house that was being dismantled in lieu of using, extracting gold from the earth and requiring lots of energy to do so, creating toxic emissions, and costing both the designer and the purchaser, me in this case, a lot more. So you can see that's an example of the kind of thing we're hoping to accomplish in Rhode Island by helping manufacturers make products that cost them less money and improve the environmental health of the communities where they're operating and people, the health of people. And we're also very intent on providing construction people with ways to choose products that are more environmentally responsible and reduce their costs and their competitiveness.
We've been at the footsteps of a green economy, or talked about building a green economy in the United States for 40 years, really, since Earth Day. And now certain aspects are coming around. You're seeing renewable energy, whether it's deep water wind or green development building, very significant energy sources in the state. Is this the beginning of your company and others like it? Is it the beginning of really intervening in how we build things and really changing the perspective of those who develop properties into a much more forward-thinking structure?
Absolutely, Josh, you got it. I mean, it's the beginning of a whole transformative culture, and every type of enterprise could be affected and improve their cost performance and also be a bigger contributor to an economy that supports our health and well-being. So everybody wins. But the reality is that this is very advanced in other parts of the world.
Absolutely.
But in the United States, people are just beginning to understand this. They're beginning to see that this has been in process, and it's something very exciting for everybody to get involved with.
And are you or all the above, are you a consulting business? Are you a software business? Are you how does it work? If let's just say, look out the window, the new owners who might take over the Superman building want to really not just get a certificate for being a green leaf building, but really want to transform the entire process, not only of developing it, how it would operate, but also of their tenants. How would that work with you guys?
Well, that's a great question, because I'd love to see the Superman building responsibly developed as a model of the circular economy. Well, it would work in this way. First, to get back to your question, are we a consultant? Are we a technology company? Are we a training? All three. And this is what we're offering, how we offer to do this. We're right now talking about doing a pilot in Rhode Island. It'd be great if the Superman building was one of the pilot projects. So we would train 7 people in the company involved in a given project. We'd train an executive and the director of operations, the director of procurement, the director of sustainability, and we would train at our cost 3 new hires who would become interns for their support staff. And we would provide them initially with 3 courses that they all complete in a 3-month period, and they'd be able then to transform their enterprise and do things that are much more cost-effective and environmentally responsible. So the first course is on circular economy methods. You've got to figure out what's the big picture. How can I use the methods and processes with the underlying software we offer to make better business decisions, to make the business, whatever it is, a construction company, a manufacturer, a large bank, whatever. That's the first course. And the second, which with 8 modules and very efficiently provided work sessions.
Is that an in the company course, or is it an online course?
Well, it's an online course, so digital. You can take it anytime, anywhere. And then there are sessions, Josh, where everybody in that particular company comes together and asks questions, and there's much more interactivity. How would this affect the different departments? How would we work on it together? And thirdly, everybody in the training does a Keystone project. Now, the Keystone project is something where you take all of what you've learned in the 3 courses and you apply it to specific processes, specific responsibilities you have, and you demonstrate how you've created reduce costs and improve environmental profile. So the second course is very tied to the building sector, and it's going to help anybody in Rhode Island in the building sector who suddenly needs to meet the requirements of the new Green Building Act, which now requires that all publicly owned or leased buildings must be LEED certified. That's going to mean the 7,800 schools that hopefully will have the money to be restored. And we have an expert who is a LEED faculty member and teaching that.
Changing the culture of companies to adopt even a pilot program like this is always difficult. The bigger the company, the harder it is to move the ship around. How do you see that transforming? How do you see that moving?
Well, that's interesting. To be honest with you, we've had a lot of support from the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation. They provided us with a loan that we've used to build our website, to develop materials that go to different user groups. One kind of material for manufacturers, another for purchasers, another for banks, still other for universities. It's the same system, but people would talk about it and use it in different ways. So we're doing that. We're getting that out. We're meeting with lots of different potential participants in the pilot, and we're asking who's willing to step up to the plate, who is really seeking to transform their culture so they become much more cost effective and much more competitive in not only the local but the national and even the international marketplace.
We as a company, when we moved here and set up the studios to do GoLocal Live, left our printers behind and went paperless. And the reverberation and the impact on certain staffers, unnamed, was quite jolting. What do you mean there's no paper? And then in a short period of time, the behavior changed and the amount of waste we produced, decreased by orders of magnitude, and really, helped, I think, as a team rethink sort of what you do. So it's that initial jolt.
Absolutely.
That's probably the biggest factor.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Right.
And what we're saying is our software, our training is customizable.
Yeah.
So whatever kind of company you are, we can make it work for you. And in the individualized, you get the same content online. You can do that, you know, 24/7.
Sure.
But then you have an opportunity to work with our team of 10 experts, people who are recognized as experts around the country and even around the world, to tailor it to your needs and help you do this efficiently. I didn't mention the third course, which I'm really excited about. It's all about advanced products. So it's about manufacturers, how they can evaluate the recyclability of materials, how they can start with the design of their materials to ensure that the products are really the result of a circular economy. And then it helps them actually in the marketplace by using software and analytics to capture and compare. Well, if I choose concrete product A over B and C, how much better is that for reducing climate change or reducing my energy use? You get all that. You
Right.
get it in, you know, it's real data.
Is it hard to make change when the economy's good? People are, you know, listen, I want to take advantage of the economy. I don't want to disrupt things. Is it easier to make change when the economy dips a little bit and people are then looking for ways of changing behavior, maybe saving money, etc.?
Well, I would say for this kind of consulting,
Yeah.
and because we don't charge really for our consulting, we provide consulting in the process of doing training and coaching, and so there's not a big cost factor
Right.
to actually signing up for the training and the technology. So I think in a way people are more open to innovation when the economy is better. So this is a really good time, and there's also a huge amount of attention to this information and metrics on how much you save. For example, you can reduce your operating costs by 3%. That can be a lot.
Yeah.
You improve your brand competitiveness by 17%. Now, when you're looking at numbers like that, you're saying, well, you know, wow, we could move to a whole new level
Absolutely.
as an enterprise and grow and contribute to growing the Rhode Island economy. It's a winner.
So
Triple
if I'm in the C-suite at some company watching this, how do I get involved with you guys?
Call me.
Okay, great. And we'll have that in today's article. It'll get reposted tomorrow, and it'll be pushed out in the e-blast. We'll have the contact information, email address. They can email you as well, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. Give a little background on working in Rhode Island. How's it been building a business in Rhode Island?
It's been exciting. I returned to Rhode Island bringing this new company with me about 4 years ago, having lived here 25 years ago and had the privilege of serving as director of the Preservation Society. So I've been working on circularity here, and it's been wonderful being in a community where people connect so easily. There's a lot of sharing, there's a lot of support, tremendous support from groups like SEG. I think the Commerce Department is doing an extraordinary job in helping small businesses, not just with funding, but with access to a lot of resources. And that energy is exponentially supportive.
That's great. I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for the privilege.
Look for all the information, all the ways to contact, and all the ways to connect on the article and the video tomorrow. Obviously, you can tune into it live. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with another entrepreneur who's creating an interesting business here in Rhode Island. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Small Biz here on Business Monday here at GoLocal at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I am with Carlos Ventura, CEO, right? You got the top dog name?
Yes.
At Feast and Fiddles, a startup home food delivery, prepared meals, an interesting space,
Yeah.
big players,
Yeah.
and you're competing against them. And you do have a point of differentiation that I have to say could be the key to your success because the space is crowded and it's complex. Talk a little bit about the point of differentiation between you guys and some of the big boys who have raised tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. So Feast and Fiddle, a meal delivery business based out of Rhode Island. We're actually headquartered out of Hope in Maine and Warren. But like you mentioned, our big differentiator is there's no cooking required whatsoever.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner, right?
Yes, exactly. So what that means is we actually are a food business, and I would actually call, the meal kit businesses, they're more like logistics businesses.
Yeah.
So we have a keen focus on food preparation. Everything remains super, super fresh, arrives to your door, and all you have to do is reheat it.
And a huge variety of different options for a startup. I mean, I think that's one of the points of differentiation that you've been able to do. And it's we're trying it. I'm gonna be. I've not tried it yet, but we're definitely gonna try.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how you've been able to create the number of different choices and opportunities for people.
Sure. So the business was actually founded by Maggie Movena, our executive chef. And she was a nanny in East Providence, or the east side of Providence, for a family. Food was amazing, but she did work in a family with different palates, different tastes, different preferences. So once the business was actually started, she understood that a given household has many different varieties and preferences and options, diet requirements, etc. So that whole premise has just carried through to what we do today. And we also don't want to be a fad business or a diet business.
Right.
And I'm sure we've all tried like 12 different diets in the past 6 years, so we just want to make the long-term play versus, I'm going to go gluten-free, and then once you go gluten-free and you've decided that you're no longer gluten-free, we still want to be there for you. So our menu always has gluten-free options, vegetarian options. I'm like a new vegan, and I order every week. So we make sure that we play to different preferences in the household.
You're starting here, you're starting at Hope in Maine, you're going to be moving to a new location in East Providence, give you a little more centralized location, access to highways.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about scaling the business. You're the CEO. They're the chefs, right?
Yeah.
They're thinking food. You're thinking, how do I move fresh food to different people in an efficient, scalable way? Talk a little bit about that experience.
Sure. So actually our kitchen location was decided in a strategic manner. Our location is actually 881 Waterman Ave in East Providence, as you mentioned, right by a lot of highways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that will allow us to, we currently actually serve all of Rhode Island. However, that will allow us to easily transition into Massachusetts, which we do plan to expand into in Q3 of this year.
Great. And how have you seen the growth? What have been some of the bumps and bruises? And what are some of the successes?
Yeah, so in terms of successes, in 2017 and prior to that, the business had never done any formal type of marketing. So it was all word of mouth, which works to a certain extent. But when we really wanted to turn on the switch and accelerate growth, we started investing in print advertising.
Print?
Print.
What is that stuff? Dead trees?
We can talk a little bit more about our members and our demographic, but print does work and is very effective. We did a little NPR. So this is all in conjunction with, of course, your standard social channels.
Yep.
Our most effective channels have honestly been our print advertising and word of mouth, and we plan to stick with that. That's where our demographic is. And
who buys you?
Working professionals. I would say, I'll be honest, our product is premium.
Yeah.
Often it's a dual professional household, coming home late at night, 6, 7 o'clock. Kids, the last thing you want to do is stop at, I won't name names, but big grocery stores, figure out what to eat, cook it, and then do all the dishes, and then before you know it, you have no time to spend with your family. So our members are really value time with their families.
And what's the growth you've seen? Talk a little bit about scaling the business.
Yeah, sure. So from 2016 to 2017, we more than doubled the business. So we had
Right.
about 100,000 in sales in 2016, about 230,000 in sales in 2017, and we're on track again to more than double this year.
That's great.
We turn on marketing, and when we turn on the switch to Massachusetts, we would expect that to accelerate even further.
And how big logistically can you support from one location in East Providence, Rhode Island?
Sure. Just to give you a frame of reference, right now, out of our location in Warren, we're going all the way down to Westerly.
Wow.
With no issues. So, and maybe I'll add one more bit about our operations and how the kitchen works. So our food is cooked and then it's chilled.
Right.
And once it's chilled, we just keep it cold until it arrives at your door. And this is cooked and then at your door the following day. So as long as we can keep it cool, which we can, and travel over far distances, I think we now go about 60 miles out of our hub, we'll be able to deliver comfortably. So that 60-mile radius around the East Providence location will easily go into some very attractive areas into Massachusetts.
That's great. And you're raising some money right now? You're raising some capital? You want to talk about that? Is it
Yeah.
your chance for some free digital advertising?
Yes. So we are raising capital. I would say it's in one of the newer fashions out there. We're doing a crowdfunding campaign. And to sort of explain that, just think of it as a Kickstarter with
Right.
equity and ownership in the company. We've launched our campaign last Friday on a platform called Microventures, and Microventures is essentially a joint venture with a Indiegogo, which is another
Sure.
like crowdfunding campaign. So yeah, we've launched last Friday. We're getting the word out there, obviously.
Good.
And no, we really want to democratize the investment process for anyone out there that wants to get involved.
And do you see this as you're going to own a regional footprint, or do you see this as we're going to own New England, or do you see this as something that potentially could roll out across the country with different hubs and spokes?
There you go. So we have big dreams for this business. The focus is always the long-term vision, which is that hub and spoke model. And essentially, we will create the initial hub model in East Providence, prove that model out, optimize it, get the tech right, get the recipes down, and really have something that we can replicate in other locations.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what's been the biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge? So for me personally,
Yeah.
Staying in shape. No, I'm kidding.
Surrounded by food all the time?
Surrounded by food. I think one of the biggest challenges has been coming from an environment. I previously worked in London for a food delivery business, sort of like an Uber Eats. It's called Deliveroo.
Sure.
And that's pure digital, social. Everything we do from a marketing standpoint, or 90% of it, is pure digital.
Yep.
So when I came to Rhode Island, the scene's very, very different, even from a New York or a Boston.
Yeah.
Going back to my comment on print advertising being so effective, it's not just the demographic, it's just sort of how things are done in Rhode Island still. It's not a bad thing, it's just a different thing.
And then how have you worked with Commerce?
So we actually worked with Commerce and SEG.
Yep.
They provided a $25,000 loan to us to help build out our new website, which rolled out in May. And that has just drastically changed, not even the front end for consumers, but the back end efficiency. Everything's automated now. We literally used to sit there with a tally and yell out every single entree inside everyone was ordering, but now that's all automated. So it's been a massive help for us.
Improve quality control, improve customer satisfaction.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Flexibility, yep.
And you've got a much better than average retention rate in keeping your customers?
Yeah, and I think that just goes back to us being a food business first. Our product, I mean, it's second to none. I was literally shocked when I tried it for the first time, and that convinced me to personally invest in the business.
Yeah.
And as long as we maintain that product quality, we won't have a lot of the profitability issues you see a lot of these meal kit companies / logistics companies.
Yeah, right.
having.
Complex business model.
Yes.
And any other milestones coming up that people should know about?
Yeah, I mean, we're launching our kitchen, as you mentioned, in October. The crowdfunding campaign. We have a a personal milestone. Our founder and executive chef is expecting the last week of August.
That's great.
So a lot going on.
Yeah,
I'm
good for
getting
you.
married next Friday.
Congratulations.
Shout out to my fiance, I have to say.
Well done.
Yeah.
Better than forgetting.
Fair point. So no, I mean, just a lot going on for the business right now, and we're excited to see, you know, what we're able to do in this new kitchen.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to hearing about the success. Tough space, but
Yes.
it looks like a nice differentiation in the business model and how you're delivering. Keep us up to date on all of it. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the 3 o'clock Small Biz Hour. We'll be back at 4 o'clock. We'll have Gary Sass on talking UHIP, etc. And then at 4:30, we'll have Saul Kaplan. His BIF event just got named as one of the top events by Forbes magazine. So we'll be popping champagne and all that kind of stuff. We'll see you back at 4 o'clock.